Hi, this is Dr. Mary Gillam. I just completed the last 3 tapings for my new show, Leadership Table Talk. And during this show, I was asked by one of the guests, how do you go about writing? What is it that you ask yourself even before you ever get started writing? And I thought, wow, this is a great opportunity to share with someone about the writing process. As you may know, I am a #1 Amazon best-selling author. I've written 12 books now, and I thought that there are 6 questions that I think every new author should really ask themselves before they ever start writing. And so I just thought I would share those questions with you because as it benefited that person, I think it will benefit you as well. And so the first question I think every new author should write or ask themselves is this: what story or message do I want to share? This is a very important question because it sets the stage for everything else that you will do. The storyline for my first book actually dealt with grief. I was raised by my paternal grandmother who died while I was stationed in Korea. And for me, I wanted to get closure on that. So I also wanted to honor her memory. And so I wrote a book called I Never Said Goodbye. And the impetus for it, as I said, was that I wanted to honor her memory, but at the same time gain that closure. And so the title actually came from the fact that I never got a chance to say goodbye to her before she passed. And so I used the book as my way of saying, grandmother, this goodbye is for you. And that was the last lines of the book, I Never Said Goodbye. And so that to me was a story that I wanted to convey, but to also help people who may be dealing with the grieving process. You know, sometimes you may just want to write about it so that you can get it out on paper or something and you can express yourself when it comes down to that. And that became a healing tool for a lot of people. There have been many people who have told me how they enjoyed the book, I Never Said Goodbye, because it really helped them to gain closure with some things that they had been experiencing with the loss of one of their loved ones as well. And so I think it's very important, like I said, that you identify the story. What is it that you want to really share with the audience? So the second question that I think is important that you should ask is, what problem, if any, can I solve by writing my story? In other words, what is the purpose for my book? Oftentimes writers will hear people ask, why should I purchase your book? What's in it for me? As a writer, I think it's very important that you be able to answer those questions very succinctly, very honestly, and very accurately. I think you should be able to nail your story and why a person should purchase your book. What's in it for them? And so you should be able to convey that information because this will help guide you in the writing and marketing of your product. And so the third question that I think is very important that you should ask is, what audience do I want to reach? In other words, who is my niche market? Every writer must be able to identify that and be able to nail it, point blank. This is who I'm writing for, because every book is not going to fit everybody. And so if you know exactly who you're writing for, then you won't have a problem. And I think it's important too because I said, if you're writing children's books, then you will not use language in your book that is more appropriate for adults. So when you know who your target market is or your audience, then you will write appropriately and use the appropriate language as well. And this will also help you with your budget and so forth. Because you need to understand who your target market is and you need to target those particular people so you won't allocate a lot of funds trying to target everybody, but you will use your budget wisely, the resources in your budget wisely, so that you can target the right audience. And that's why it's very important that you identify who your target market is. So fourth, why should the audience listen to you? Are you an expert in this area, or you have experiences in this area that will make you an expert, or that will give you credibility and enable you to talk about it intelligently? Those are kind of things that you definitely need to consider when you get ready to write, because people will definitely question your credibility in an area and so forth. And so you want to make sure that you at least take that question into consideration. Okay, so let's continue. The fifth question that I think you should ask is, what genre or category of writing do you want to specialize in? For example, do you want to be known as a fictional writer, a non-fictional writer, a mystery writer, or a writer who deals with women's issues, the leadership management space, information technology area? Whatever area that you want to specialize in, you want to definitely try to identify that while you're writing, because as you begin to write and develop a following, people will begin to look for your books in that particular area. So you want to definitely try to identify the area that you want to definitely get known in or specialize in. I just think that that's an important thing to consider and ask yourself. And the final question that I think that you should ask, and I think this is very important: am I writing for profit, or am I just writing for pleasure? This is important because it will drive your budget. Believe me, it will definitely drive your budget. Because if you're writing for profit as a professional, then you definitely want to put together a strategic marketing plan so that you're advertising for the book before the book ever hits the market. You want to make sure that you're letting people know about it through social media, whatever other platforms that you may use. So you want to definitely get noticed before you get published, and you want to get noticed in a positive way. And so if you're writing to make money and so forth, there are certain things that you will do that differ from the person who's just writing for pleasure. Because I can guarantee you, if I'm just writing for pleasure, I'm not going to invest a lot of money into the kinds of things that it takes to really get your name out there, get the publicity that you need to get your book out in the market space, and that people will definitely pay attention to you, because you need to be marketing your book way before the book ever hits the hits the market. You need to definitely, because some advisors will say that if you wait until after the book is published, you're too late in trying to market. So you want to definitely be marketing. And it's just like in any business that you're in, because you notice in the car industry, before cars are ever on the market, they're already, their attributes and benefits are being sold way before they ever hit the market. And that's just any business. And so I definitely think that you need to ask yourself the question, am I writing just for pleasure, or am I definitely writing for business, as a profession, if you will, and I'm looking to make big time profits. And so that will help you to develop a budget accordingly, because you don't, like I said, you don't want to spend a lot of money if it's just for pleasure, because you can easily do that if you don't know where you're going. And even though I did not include this initially, I would say that it's good to have a strategic plan, even for your book. Where do you want this book to go? And identify, all the kinds of things that would go into making the book a success. And I think it's really important that you put together a strategic plan that will help you to market your book, get it out there. And so I hope that in sharing these little 6 tidbits or questions, that I have sparked you to continue your writing journey. And if you have any questions for me, I am at m2gleadershipbiz.com. And although I don't necessarily consult in this particular area, the fact that I have written 12 books and I have been a Amazon #1 best-selling author, I can definitely provide some consulting services in this particular area as well. So again, this is Dr. Mary Gillam. I'm the owner of M2G Dynamic